Hello YouTube! I'm going to be teaching you how to play Dinosaurs today. I'm going to be explaining two of the basic combo lines. The first two-card combo that works going first or going second, and then I'm going to go ahead and be showing you a Desperation line that's also a two-card combo that you can also do going second. Now, this deck is very intricate and has a lot of complexities when you actually get down to it, but it is simple enough to play, and it is a very Unga Boonga style deck where you don't really think about setting things up as much as just pumping out as much damage as you can and trying to go for the one-turn kill. Anyways, I'm going to stop wasting time and I'm going to get right into the video. If you have any questions while watching the video or anything, just leave either a timestamp or just a general question down below and I will do my best to help. Thank you for watching and I'm getting right into it. Alright, so starting off, we have the Dinosaur 2-card combo, and basically you can do this line with any card that gives you access to Miscellaneousaurus. That can be either Soul Eating Oviraptor or Fossil Dig. Both will give you access to the card, or you could just hard open the Misc, and again, Prosperity will help you search for it. And then either Baby Ceratosaurus or Petite Pterodon, which again can be accessed by hard drawing it, using the Fossil Dig, or searching for it with Soul Eating Oviraptor. Again, that's why this deck is so strong at doing a two-card combo, because it has access to its cards in so many different forms, especially with cards like Fossil Dig, which are not a once per turn. Anyways, getting into it, we're just going to go ahead and activate Misc's effect. This effect is going to allow for your dinosaur monsters to no longer be affected by card effects, essentially, for the rest of this main phase. Once you hit battle phase, you are vulnerable again, but this is an extremely strong effect, and it's why the card's limited in our format. Then we're going to go ahead and use Miscellaneousaurus effect to banish us one card, because we're going to be looking for the Enamored Archosaur here. Bringing out this Archosaur, I'm going to go ahead and play it underneath one of the link zones. It really doesn't matter which, but I just do say that it's a better idea to put it underneath one of the link zones. Anyways, using its effect, you're going to go ahead and pop the Baby or Petite Pterodon, which is going to allow you... First, the way that this is going to resolve is that Archosaur's effect is going to go off first, grabbing you a double evolution pill. Be wary, if you have drawn all your double evolution pills, this effect will not go off. Anyway, Baby's effect will go off. If you didn't summon Oviraptor already, because remember, we have not normal summoned, in order to get the effect to search one of these cards, we're going to go ahead and special summon Oviraptor here, which is just going to allow for us to get a free draw. Now, there's a lot of good draws here, and this is where the deck starts getting a bit more situational, but typically really strong cards to take are gonna be another copy of either Petite or Baby. Baby, if you want to attack, Petite would be better in this situation right now, going first, but I'm going to go ahead and take the Baby Ceratosaurus just to explain one other combo line down the line, and you're going to click yes to add to hand because sending it to the graveyard is going to be completely pointless. So now I'm going to go ahead and commit my normal summon for the turn. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and use Soul Eating Oviraptor's effect. Since we sent a card already to the graveyard, you can only activate this effect if you have a dinosaur monster in the graveyard. And what's nice about Ovi is that if you're ever facing a mirror match, you can eat your opponent's level 4 or lower dinosaurs too. And we're going to go ahead and eat Baby Ceratosaurus because this card is not once per turn. Now, here's a very tricky part that's hard to tell with the way that this simulator is created. The way that this reads, imagine you're reading in English. This reads left to right, meaning that the newest card, the one on the left, is that newest card that you just sent. So if I go ahead and summon this Baby Ceratosaurus to the left, its effect will not go off because it is the version that needs to be in the graveyard for its effect to resolve. So I'm going to go ahead and take the one on the right, special summoning it here, and that's going to allow for Baby Ceratosaurus' effect to go off. You could calm down, baby girl. Then I'm going to go ahead and get a special summon here. I'm just going to go ahead and summon this giant Rex. I'm going to summon Linkuriboh here, using that Enamored Archosaur, and Linkuriboh's arrow does point down, which is specifically why I wanted to keep this slot open. Now, here, I could link this off into a secure Gardener, and it's going to put Linkuriboh, which is a non-dinosaur monster, in the graveyard, and that's going to allow me to use double evolution pill without having to discard a card in my hand, because this requires a dinosaur and a non-dinosaur monster. But I'm gonna go ahead and do something better because I have the Giant Rex line. So here, and this combo does seem a bit complicated, but it gets really easy with repetition. I'm gonna go ahead and summon any Link 2 that I have in my deck. Lambda's just really good because it allows me to use an extra hand trap, but it can be Nightmare Phoenix or essentially any card. I'm going to go ahead and use this Link Karibo, and I'm going to use this Giant Rex. Now, the reason why I special summon that Giant Rex is because the second card wasn't going to be very useful, and if for some reason you can't summon Giant Rex, summoning Miscellaneous Aurus is also very viable, because it'll just put it in your graveyard to use next turn. Anyways, now is when I'm going to activate this Double Evolution Pill, and it's going to only use resources from my graveyard. I'm going to go ahead and use the Giant Rex, because it will special summon itself, and I'm going to go ahead and use the Link Karibo Engrave, not losing cards. So then, I'm going to go ahead here, and this is going to allow me to special summon. Now, this part here is pretty relevant, because depending on the deck you're going against, you may want to summon Overtext Quatless. If you're playing against any spell-based deck, like Sky Striker, Quatless is much stronger than anything Conductor is going to be doing against that deck. But typically, if you don't know what you're facing, or you're facing a deck like Tri-Brigade or Drytron, Conductor is much, much stronger. So we're going to go ahead and bring out our ultimate Conductor Tyranno, again summoning it underneath one of the link zones in case we choose in the future to go into a different card, the Pentastag in our deck. Anyways, this is going to allow Giant Rex's effect to go off because it was banished, summoning itself to the field. Now, with both these level 4s, we're going to go ahead and XZ summon. And again, this is a deck that's all about two different paths you get to take. Same way with getting to pick what to summon off Double Evolution Pill, either the Quatless or the Conductor. And when we had the choice of summoning either the Giant Rex or the Miscellaneous Aurus for next turn, here we're going to go ahead and choose between Dolkka and Laggia. Laggia is going to go ahead and provide a summon negation. It's basically a Solemn Strike. Or it's going to allow a spell negation, but it only gets one. Or we can go ahead and summon Dolkka, which is going to stop card effects from monsters instead. But it gets 2, and it is not once per chain. So again, much like Conductor, Dolkka is typically the safer play against most decks, unless you know what you're facing already. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and set that up. And this is actually where we're going to end this board. There are ways to extend more to dinosaurs, and depending on your hand, you can do more. But remember, this is a 2-card combo. And off this, we got Ultimate Conductor, which is a Book of Moon effect, which allows me to destroy a card on my side of the field or hand in order to flip all their monsters face down, meaning they can no longer liquid summon with them, and their effects are basically gone. And Dolkka, which is 2 monster negations and destructions as well, because since it does both. And Conductor requires a card to destroy, but we also ended up with a baby Ceratosaurus on field, meaning that we can destroy that baby and summon Oviraptor during the opponent's turn to search a Misk, which again is going to protect all our dinosaur monsters for an entire main phase. And lastly, we end on the Lambda, which is going to allow us to have that Gamma live in our hand. If we were going for something crazy, or if we were going second, I could have instead summoned the Pentastag, and this would have allowed me to do piercing damage. So instead of using Conductor's effect to destroy face down monsters, I could have just used his effect to attack everything, and anything below 3500 they would have just taken that damage. So if they had a full board for some reason all face down because of Conductor's effect, you just absolutely destroy it. And you probably also have some hand traps left in hand at the end of this. As you can see, I have Max C, and that's why dinosaurs are so strong. This deck's unbelievably strong. To be honest, its biggest fear is itself. Now, dinosaurs, while an extremely powerful deck, its biggest weakness has always been itself, as this deck is incredibly prone to bricking. But it is an extremely powerful going second deck with many very powerful going second tools. Typically going second, you'd still want to go into the 2-card combo that I showed earlier. The only difference being that if you don't have a Psy-Frame Gamma in your hand, you're going to go ahead and make Pentastag instead of the Lambda in that step where we go ahead and make a Link 2. But I'm going to show you another 2-card combo that could be done with Lost World and either Baby Ceratosaurus or Petite Pterodon. We're going to do the optimal version with Baby. That's still a desperation play, but you see it consistently enough since you run 4 copies of the Babies and 4 copies of Lost World, including Terraforming in this deck. So anyways, it starts off with summoning Lost World, and then just summon any dinosaur monster that you can here. And the only card this doesn't work with is Enamored Archosaur, since it has 0 attack. And the token we're going to be summoning is also 0 attack, and you cannot destroy a 0 defense card with a 0 attack card, because 0 and 0 do not crash in this game. And don't try to get fancy and go into Link Karibo to do this, because again, it's going to get reduced to 0. So the only way to save that if you really have to normal summon a dead Archosaur without an effect is the Gardna, and it's the reason why we run this in the deck. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and normal summon either Baby Ceratosaurus or Petite Pterodon. This is gonna make the effect of Lost World go off, giving our opponent a token. And this Jureg token is extremely valuable, not only because it allows this combo to go off, but because now the only card that can be targeted while this token exists is our Lost World, and decks like Sky Striker and Tri-Brigade really struggle to out this token because they can't really do much with it. It becomes very tedious for them to keep on field. Anyways, now here we're gonna go ahead and just give up our battle phase so we can attack into this token, because once we attack with this token, we can use Lost World's effect to protect it. One more side note, if you're ever doing this and trying to get the effect off with Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, the deck's boss monster, be sure to click no on using Conductor's effect, because when you burn for 1,000 and send it to the graveyard, you will no longer be able to activate Lost World. So just go ahead and click no and attack, and then in Lost World's prompt will come up. So we're going to use this effect of Lost World here to protect the token, and again, not the end of the world, because it's going to offer our monsters a bit of protection from targeting, and cards like Effect Veiler and Imperm both target. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and destroy a Baby Ceratosaurus from deck. This Baby Ceratosaurus is going to allow us to summon an Enamored Archosaur here, and we're going to use this Enamored Archosaur to either eat a card in hand, or if we're desperate, just eat the card we summoned. But again, this combo is optimal with summoning one of the babies. So we're going to go ahead and eat the baby, and that's going to search us our double evolution pill and get baby's effect off, which is where this combo should start getting familiar. We're going to go ahead and summon the Oviraptor. And again, I want to emphasize, be sure to summon the Enamored Archosaur underneath a free Link zone, because you want to keep that space open for any Link summon plays that I'll discuss later. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and use Soul Eating Oviraptor's effect. And while last time we used this to search a Baby Ceratosaurus or Petite Pterodon, we have to remember that we already committed our normal summon this time, meaning that those cards are no longer active. So we're going to go ahead and just grab ourselves a copy of Miscellaneousaurus. Now, we're going to go ahead here and end our battle phase so we can continue playing. So you won't be OTKing your opponent with this line, but you will be setting up a massive board most of the time. Anyways, here we're going to go ahead and first use Miscellaneousaurus as a fact. This is going to give us protection during this main phase, even more than the Lost World is already giving us, because now our dinosaur monsters are unaffected. Anyways, now we're going to go ahead, go into our graveyard, making sure that we have 2 dinosaur cards in here, which we do. We're going to go ahead and Link Summon first, just because we can, and just on the off chance that you somehow ended up with a less dinosaur, like something got banished. So we're going to go. Now, we're going to go ahead and use Miscellaneousaurus as effect for just 2 cards here, banishing the Enamored Archosaur, because since Baby is more valuable in the graveyard since we can bring it back. Anyways, we're going to summon either Petite Pterodon or Baby Ceratosaurus. It doesn't matter anymore because we already attacked this turn, so it really doesn't matter if your card's going to attack. We're just going to bring out the Petite Pterodon for a different name, and then we're going to use Soul Eating Oviraptor's effect And we could eat the token to bring back a dinosaur, but instead we're going to eat Petite Pterodon to get that search. Now, if you did this with Baby Ceratosaurus, remember, reading left to right, the newest card is always left, so you'd want to pick one of the Baby Ceratosaurus to the right. But regardless, I'm going to pick a Baby Ceratosaurus to the right, because if you summon the card you just ate, its effect will not go off since it's not in the graveyard, and we're going to summon the Giant Rex. And here, again, the combo line starts to get really familiar. Now, we're going to go ahead, and here we could even go ahead and make a Nightmare Phoenix, for example, if our opponent has an Imperial Order up that's blocking us, because not only will we get to destroy a card, if we choose to link it underneath the Link Karibo, we will also draw a card. But here we're going to go ahead and link off into our Lambda, since we already attacked and there's not much use of the Pentastag, using the Giant Rex just to get it in the graveyard. Then, here we're going to go ahead and use our Double Evolution Pill. And again, banishing that Giant Rex since it will be bringing itself back, and the Link Karibo that we only summoned for it to go to the graveyard. And here, again, we get a decision between summoning Quetz against spell decks, or Conductor, which is just generally better. Now we're going to summon it underneath the Link Monster Zone again in case we go into a Pentastag in the future. And we're going to use Giant Rex's effect, bringing him to the field. And then, again, we get to choose between Dolkka and Laggia, depending if you want to stop summons and spells, or you want to stop monsters effect twice. We're going to go for the Laggia just to have a little bit of variety from what we did last time. But Dolkka would typically be better because it stops cards like Nibiru. Anyways, now that we're here, we have, again, an insanely strong board set up. Because I still have another baby in deck, I'm going to go ahead and just pop Conductor effect here since they chose to summon a monster, destroying the baby. Again, this is something that's extremely valuable to do during your opponent's turn because it's going to hugely interrupt them, but I'm just doing this to bring out another copy of Baby Ceratosaurus. And again, Oviraptor would be better, but I'm just bringing out the Oviraptor here because I'm going to get another pop during my opponent's turn. So now, again, I don't get to attack, but I end off in this insanely powerful board. And the second my opponent tries to play the game, I have both a Laggia to stop them, Conductor, and the threat of Lambda on board, which can potentially be another hand trap activatable in my hand. Now, since my opponent's ending the main phase, we're going to pretend they summoned a Tri-Brigade monster or something relevant. I'm going to go ahead and use Conductor's effect, destroying this Baby Ceratosaurus, and this is going to allow me to special summon Oviraptor during my opponent's turn, and then, I might as well use Lost World as well, just because it's extremely annoying. Unless your opponent has a very generic Link deck, this won't do anything for them, because cards like Apollosa and Access Code cannot use these non-effect tokens to be summoned. So then we're going to use Oviraptor effect as well. And we're just going to search out for any card, really. Typically, I'd say grab a Misc here just because it's going to protect you during the main phase 2 if they try to hit you with a surprise card, or if they set down a card that can interrupt you on the next turn. But really, again, Dinosaurs is a very situational deck depending on your hand. And just like that, I probably put a stop to my opponent's turn. I still have the negate from either Laggia or Dolkka. They have 2 annoying tokens to deal with, and I'm free to attack next turn for game. A quick rundown of the deck list. We are running 4 hand traps. The Gamma package, because Ash Blossoming the Miscellaneousaurus effect, once it banishes itself, is the deck's biggest choke point, and you will often find opponents hitting that. So if you're able to hit them with a Gamma, it offers an extremely powerful play, and also allows us to play Lambda instead of just the generic Link 2, which it makes for stronger end boards. Then we are running the Enamored Archosaur because it is a vital engine piece, allowing you to destroy one of the baby dinosaurs, and searching double evolution pill. Baby Ceresaurus, again, self-explanatory, is a vital part of the dinosaur deck, destroys to special summon out monsters like Oviraptor. Maxi just is the best hand trap in the game, the other half of the Gamma package. Petite Pterodon at 1 of because it's not as good as Baby Ceresaurus, but you find niche situations where you need to bring out a Pankertops in case of an emergency. We have Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, an extremely good hand trap, hits every deck. The Giant Rex, when it gets banished, it special summons itself, which allows us to make linked 2s like Lambda, and still use Double Evolution Pill to get a free card on board, which can then be used for Dolkka or Laggia. Miscellaneousaurus, what does Misc do? Best card in the deck. Soul Eating Oviraptor basically just searches any dinosaur we need at any moment for free. Quetzalcoatlus for matchups where Conductor isn't very good, much like Sky Striker. It just allows us for an extra negate in situations where Conductor falls short. Dino Wrestler Pankertops is just an extremely good card and has Dino synergies as well, so it's a very strong card to run in the deck. Electing to run Gamma Seal instead of a different hand trap, like Impermanence, just because we are a going second deck, so if you win the coin flip, you can elect to go second. If you lose it, you're probably going to be made to go second anyways. It just allows you to remove those annoying threats, especially against decks like Drytron, and get a free win out, especially in a best-of-1 format. Ultimate Conductor Tyranno is the deck's boss monster, insanely strong to have a Book of Moon effect that also allows you to destroy your babies. Double Evolution Pill allows us to search out those boss monsters, either Quetz or Conductor Tyranno. Fossil Dig, a broken card that honestly should have been hit instead of Miscellaneousaurus in our format, just lets you search any dinosaur card that you need, level 6 or lower, and is not a once per turn. This card's insanely broken and part of an old era of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where cards were printed much more unfairly. Pot of Extravagance, a Pot of Prosperity is often considered to be the better pot, but Pot of Extravagance does allow you to more consistently go for those OTK lines, but Pot of Prosperity will give you more consistency, just sacrificing half of your damage for that battle phase. And this deck is very heavily made for going second. Lightning Storm, because we're full on committing to the going second strategy, especially with Extravagance, and we just need to remove those boards. And Lost World is just an insanely strong card. My only regret is that I couldn't find a way to fit Terraforming into this deck. Laggia, insanely strong card against spells and just pendulums, because negating the pendulum summon, it counts as one summon, you will wipe the entire pendulum summon. Dolkka, just an extremely strong card, lets you stop 2 monster effects, will shut down a deck like Tri-Brigade in a snap. Link Karibo, it's just a transition to get a non-effect monster in the graveyard, so we could double Evolution Pill without losing a card in hand. Gardna, just for linking off that Link Karibo if we don't have enough monsters on field to go into either Lambda or Pentastag. Cerberus and Phoenix, just for dealing with annoying things. You could honestly also run Unicorn, it's just a UR and I didn't feel like crafting it. Pentastag for those OTK lines when you're going second and you want to do that 2-card combo shown earlier. And Lambda for going first, and because if you have the Omega in hand, it just gives you an extra form of interruption. It is insanely strong. Anyways, that's going to be the deck list. Hopefully you guys understood Dinosaurs a little bit more. This deck is extremely complex in the combo lines it can take, but these are the main combos, and once you get these basics down, you should be able to play the deck, and then you'll slowly get used to adapting. If I were to sit here and explain every single line Dinosaur had, this would be a 5-hour long video, but these steps should be more than enough to get you going in playing the game. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you're running the scrap version, it is very different though, but I think this version is just much stronger since Miscellaneousaurus is at 3. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, leave them down below. I will literally answer any question you have about this deck or about its matchups down in the comments, and I'll do my best to help. Or if you'd like to see a how to play or how to beat video in the future, just let me know. I am going to start uploading more frequently. I hope to get out 2 videos a week, 3 if I'm being really optimistic, but I know myself that's not going to happen. 1 for fun video and 2 teaching videos throughout the week, so if you guys are interested in that, go ahead and subscribe, and thank you for watching, and thank you for sitting for my first time asking people to subscribe. Anyways, this is Rojas, signing out.